in today and for listening. Wonderful tips that you've been getting from the past two speakers. The perspective I'm going to take today is, as Kanye said, it's about understanding what your sort of emotional resilience is about and some tips as to what we could do about our mental fortitude. So these are general tips that would actually help sort of with all situations in the short term and in the long run. So this is broad theory and hopefully implementation that you can do over time. Okay. Can everybody see the presentation?
No, it has not come up yet.
It has not come up. Okay.
The screen has not changed as if something, you know how when you share something, it has not changed as yet. Okay, something's happening.
Something's happening. Okay, great. All right. So as we said for today, the objectives are to understand resilience, right? Because resilience is what we're actually looking for, both short-term and long-term. And we want to start as we mean to continue, probably not just for the match day, but also into our careers, because with this qualification, the kinds of careers you'll be taking on, you're going to need resilience. Focusing on energizing is going to be important. And first, focusing on balancing your energy sources or your energy centers. We want to have an understanding of what that is. So all of this might be a little bit random at the moment, but hopefully as we move through, we'll be able to have a deeper understanding of what all of this means. So as a check-in question, I just wanted to check, what city and room are you all dialing in from? It's a big group. And what in your mind is the biggest challenge in passing this exam? So if any of you want to contribute, you can do that in the chat, sort of on the right-hand side. If anybody doesn't know how to find the chat is up. There's a little icon at the top of your ribbon, and it's a chat and a little chat bubble. And if you click on that, you'll have something on the side that comes up. So everybody, please type in there and tell me, where are you dialing in from? And what is the biggest challenge you're facing with writing this exam? So we've got some coming through from Pretoria and in the office. From Johannesburg, staying focused on the exam, right? That's a good one because we usually have lots of things going on. We've got people from Midrand, they're saying anxiety. From Namibia, from Centurion, from Windhoek, my goodness, it's all over the place. Another one for anxiety. So these are mental things. From Bloemfontein, thank you everybody. Vanderbijl Park, the inability to apply yourself on the PRI and on the day. Okay, fatigue, anxiety, again, feeling like you haven't done enough. Lots of people coming in from Windhoek, Polokwane, Cape Town. There's somebody saying that they're scared, they don't know much. More Namibia. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for those who checked in. And so we're starting to get a sense of what is in the room. You know, there are general points around anxiety, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from. As you can see, you're all sitting and facing the same situation. So what we're going to look at then is resilience. What is resilience? And resilience is about developing strength and stretch. It's about three things. How can I work well under pressure? How can I bounce back from adversity, which is what you've been hearing about today? And how can I be flexible with change? And when we are able to do all three of those things, we are generally deemed to be resilient. So today, in checking out resilience, if we don't have resilience, then this is usually what we look like. And we can all identify with that at some point in time. So in dealing with resilience, what we will look at then is energizing and the concept of energizing. So why is energizing important? Energizing is important because as you know, you all have to manage time, but time is finite. We all have a limited amount of time in our day, in our lives. Even when we write that exam, there'll be a limited amount of time. So what we need to do is improve the quality of the time that we spend. So yes, we have time management, but we also have what is called energy management. The other point as to why we need to look after energizing is that prolonged periods of stress, we all know from a research point of view, is linked to chronic illness, depression, ongoing unhealthy stress. It makes us sick and it makes us unable to perform. It affects performance, right? So what we are saying here is that unhealthy stress that is ongoing is bad for our health, right? So what I want to say to you today is that stress is not the bad guy. The absence of recovery is the problem. So there will always be times in life where there is a lot of stress. There's a lot going on, and we spend a lot of energy, right? And the energy that we spend then, we actually do not put back. If we were a car or an engine and we use petrol, we expend energy, you need to fill up the petrol tank again. And as obvious as that sounds, we don't necessarily always do that when we're focused on a goal. So growth is stress done consciously. We cannot grow without stress. If you look at this lady here with her beautiful muscles and her dumbbell, without putting resistance against that bicep muscle, it will not tear open, it will not break, it will not get bigger. But in order for it to get bigger, that muscle requires water, it requires the right macronutrients like protein, it requires certain vitamins. Without those, we are not going to go anywhere. And so it's the same with us. When we stress, we break ourselves down a little, but in order to grow, we need to give ourselves the right nourishment and nutrients to go on. So the key thing in this game of resilience is understanding that recovery is key. Just like as if you were an athlete or if you were a sports person or a sports car even, recovery is key. Replenishing your energy lost is key. So balancing your energy expenditure with energy recovery is what energy management is all about. So this finite time that we have, what we're trying to do is improve the quality of the time that we have, because we can't increase the quantity. So we have to improve the quality of the time we have, whether it's time spent in preparation for your exam or whether it's time in the exam. And mission success is then driven by the quantity, the quality, the focus, and the force of energy you are investing in the time that you have. Okay, so that's the summary of it all. What does this mean? If we look at energy and we break it down, not all energy is the same, because as people, as you can see over here, as people, we are basically made of 3 centers of energy. Initially, in our bodies, we have a head center that thinks for us, we have a heart center that feels for us, an emotional center, and we have a physical or body center that actually acts out everything, all our behaviors that we want to do. What runs through that is an energetic or a spiritual component of ourselves, a conscious component, and that kind of holds everything together. So when we look at this pyramid of energy over here, the physical, when it's high and our energy is good on the physical side, we feel strong, we feel flexible, we are calm, we are energetic, we are driven, and we feel balanced. However, on that continuum, as the physical energy gets lower and lower and lower, what we feel is weakness, we feel pain, we feel stiffness, we feel unbalanced, and we feel inert. I have a question, Tammy. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask a question? Is the slide moving for everybody?
Yes, it is, Aisha.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Tammy, did you have a question? Whoever's hand is up, do you want to unmute and speak?
Sorry, that should have been a mistake. You can proceed.
Okay, no problem. Listen, you're welcome to ask questions if you like. Okay. So, strong, flexible, calm, energetic, driven, and balanced when we have physical energy. When we don't have it, and we're on the other extreme, weakness, pain, stiffness, imbalance, and inertness. Okay. So, when we move on to emotional energy, when our energy is high, what do we look like? We have courage, we have self-belief, we understand the purpose of what we are doing, and we understand our own value. However, when we're on very low sides of emotional balance, we look like there is fear, we possibly are living for other people's expectations as opposed to our own, or we find little ambition or drive in what we're doing. On the mental side, an high energetic state would look like clarity, focus, optimism, and a strategic mindset. However, on the low side, it might be anxiety, pessimism, and confusion about where we're going and what we want to do. On the spiritual side, this is about tapping into something bigger than us. We feel purpose-led, we feel supported, and we feel peaceful. On a high side, however, when that energy is low, we may feel like we have no context or perspective for our lives. Okay, so, okay, it's nice to see that everybody can see now what is going on. Brilliant. Right, so looking at this is a general sort of model, and you can see how this applies to all of us, that we all may be feeling different things, but what we don't realize is which petrol tank we need to fill. Oftentimes, we may be taking care of the physical side of our well-being, but we are not paying equal attention either to our emotional or our mental states. And we don't know necessarily what to do to specifically amp up the energy in that space. And before we can even solve that problem, we actually need to know that what I need is not maybe some more weights at the gym. I need to have a conversation with a friend, or I need to speak to somebody to help me with whatever mental issues that I'm having regarding my mental health. So now that we have framed out a little bit what energy is, and that there are 4 sort of kinds of energy that we are all using on a daily basis, and we're all managing, whether consciously or subconsciously, but we all need to manage those 4 energy sets. We look at optimizing this energy. And as usual, what we need to do is a gap analysis, a good old gap analysis. So I'm going to break you into groups. And what you're going to do first is just take a look at this and take a few minutes to think about yourself and analyze how you use your energy from the 4 sources. In a few minutes, you will be put into groups where you will do some guided reflection. I'll give you some questions to answer in your groups, and I'll let you know also when you go into your room. Okay, but for now, what you need to do is have a bit of a think about this. Physically, where are you? How are you using your body? And are there opportunities to invest more here, especially as you move on to writing this exam? From a physical perspective, what are we talking about? We are talking here about nutrition. Are you eating well? It sounds very basic, but oftentimes when we're busy, we skip meals. We don't have the necessary food for our brains so that our brains and our bodies can support us in this endeavor of needing to write this long exam. So how is our nutrition? Along with that, how is our hydration? Hydration you need for every 10 kilos of body weight, you need about 250 mils or a cup of water a day. So when you are doing brain work and it uses lots of water, are you taking in enough water? Are you resting or sleeping enough? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you meditating or are you resting your central nervous system, which is another big thing physically? Okay, and then last but not least, we've got movement. So we're not just talking about running or going to the gym. We're talking about anything that, such as stretching or yoga, that maintains your flexibility. How are you looking after that so that all the hours of sitting are not taking an effect and giving you headaches, etc. Okay, so that's basic stuff on a physical level. It's nutrition and hydration. It is movement. It is rest or sleep. And it is meditation. So those are the 4 things that we look at there. Do some analysis and some thinking, write down some notes. Mentally, what type of mental tasks are you performing? Are there things that you're doing in addition to studying for the exam? What are you going to do to recover mentally? What does mental recovery mean for you? And for some of us, it means diverting our attention and going away and doing something fun, or doing a crossword, or listening to a podcast, or listening to a piece of music, and coming back refreshed so that you don't overburden mentally and you find a way to get an escape or a replenishment. Emotionally, how is your well-being? What are you feeling? Are you ignoring your feelings? Are you sitting on them, or are you overwhelmed by them? What are you doing to recover, and what are you doing to process them? From a spiritual perspective, how important to you is what you are doing and what you are aiming for? What value or belief is at play when you are busy thinking about your exam and preparing for it? Do you need to invest more energy on the spiritual side? So as you can see, this is all about start as you mean to continue on the day. And what can you do from now until you write your exam, until you put your pen down? What can you do? Okay, so I've given you all enough time now to have a look at this and have a reflection. Here is the exercise that you have to do. And you're going to be broken into teams pretty soon. I would request that each of you take a snapshot of this so that you can work through these questions together. You'll be in a group of a few people, maybe 2 or 3 people in your group, and you can discuss this based off the analysis you've done on your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual health at the moment. Which of your energy sources is overburdened? Which one is taking too much strain? Which of your energy sources is underused? So which room in your house are you not using and that you could use a little bit more to bring balance into your system? Are you recovering all the sources of your energy optimally? Then what have you observed about yourself? What could you do more of, and what could you do less of? Write down your thoughts and take turns to share with the people in your group or in your couple that you're going to be in. And you can start off with the words, I realize that, and you can answer the question. So the rooms will open soon. I think that our kind organizer will open the rooms for us now, and I hope everybody's taken a snapshot. You'll go to your rooms and you will have about 10 minutes to discuss this with the other person in your group. I will give you a warning when you are to be called back, and you should be called back in about 10 minutes. The rooms are opening now.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Is it just you and me?
It looks like it.
Did you get all the questions? Because I think the slide didn't show all the questions.
No, I didn't actually, if I'm being honest, I wasn't as focused. I don't even know why we're in breakout rooms. I'm being honest, like
I know it was supposed to, like, the slides were supposed to show all the questions, but I don't know what happened. Okay, more people are coming.
it's just waiting.
Guys, can you please unmute so that we can be able to talk? I'm not sure what's happening with the reshuffling.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Miss L.